Alright?
Great work, Rob. Great work. See if you can read this. You're fired. And the next person I see juggling, tap dancing, or baton twirling, or doing any other circus-like tricks will join him.
So I just found out like literally a couple minutes ago that the Seattle Seahawks have acquired Jamal Adams from the New York Jets. Now the trade basically consisted of the Jets sending Jamal Adams and a 4th round pick to the Seahawks for a 1st round pick, a 3rd round pick, and then another 1st round pick in 2022. Yes, 2 1st round picks. And I guess the Jets also got safety Bradley McDougald. So first we will assess exactly why this trade happened. First of all, Jamal Adams is set to make a whole lot of money after this year. And the New York Jets are still in rebuilding mode with their franchise quarterback Sam Darnold. So it's safe to say that they may not want to pay the amount of money a safety like Jamal Adams is going to require. Now, I do not believe that was even close to being the main reason why this trade was conducted. Jamal Adams was very unhappy with the New York Jets owner, who was at some point literally being investigated for racist and sexist comments. New York fans cannot catch a break, man. They got this owner and they got Jim Dolan, man. They really cannot catch a break. After a couple accusations came out and some rumors came out, Jamal Adams basically wanted to get traded, and the Jets were at the time basically emphatic in saying that they will not be trading Jamal Adams. But those of us who have been watching the league for many years know that teams do that so they don't seem desperate. So when they do eventually make the trade, they can get the best possible deal. Next, we will assess exactly how this trade works for both teams. Did one team win the trade, or did it benefit both sides evenly? Now, I will be the first to admit that the haul that the Jets got for Jamal Adams is very reasonable. We can actually look at a similar trade that happened very recently at a similar position, where the Dolphins traded Minkah Fitzpatrick, the safety, to the Steelers for a 1st round pick, a 5th round pick, and a 6th round pick. So from the outside looking in, it looks like the Jets got a pretty good deal, and you can say, oh well, the Jets won this trade. In my opinion, I believe that the Jets just barely broke even on this trade. The reason I say this is the Jets haven't had the greatest success drafting players in the 1st round. Like, if you really look at it, Jamal Adams has been to 2 Pro Bowls, has been in a 1st team All-Pro and a 2nd team All-Pro. And since 2006 and 2007, when the Jets drafted Nick Mangold and Darrelle Revis, the Jets have drafted 11 1st round picks prior to picking Jamal Adams. And since that time, all those players combined have 3 Pro Bowl appearances, and the closest they've been to an All-Pro list is when Muhammad Wilkerson made the 2nd team All-Pro. So Jamal Adams is literally their first team All-Pro player in literally over a decade. This shows how incompetent the Jets front office has been. So the fact that they traded a generational talent for a haul of draft picks doesn't really impress me, because more likely than not, the Jets will not make anything out of those draft picks. So if I'm being friendly, I would say the Jets just barely broke even. Now let's look at the Seattle Seahawks side of the trade. Yes, they gave up 2 1st round picks and a 3rd round pick, but I will repeat, Jamal Adams is a generational football player. Most of the time I'd watch him play, it would be when I'm watching New England Patriot games, and in one of the regular season games last season, he literally outscored the Jets offense. It seems like the Seahawks want to go back to having that great defense they once had, and what better way to start than getting a generational talent like Jamal Adams? The Seahawks went from having the scary Legion of Boom to having Russell Wilson carry them everywhere they go. I mean, they fell off. Like, let's take last year as an example. The Seahawks gave up the 6th most passing yards. That's worse than teams like the Dolphins and the Oakland Raiders. You know it's time for a change when those 2 teams are better than you at anything. But where he will help them in is in that run defense. They were bottom of the pack in that category, and they gave up the 3rd most rushing touchdowns in the entire league. If I could pinpoint a major weakness in the Seattle Seahawks team, outside of Russell Wilson having to run for his life on every play, it would probably be their run defense and their pass rushing ability. Oh, and not to mention that they're one of the worst teams against tight ends. Well, that's perfect for them because Jamal Adams does that at his position at the highest level. In the past 2 seasons, Jamal Adams has spent 42.7% of his snaps playing in the box as a strong safety, about 27.8% of his snaps playing as free safety, and even has some experience playing corner, about 14.5% of his snaps playing in the slot, and another 3.5% playing outside cornerback. So he's going to do a lot of his damage against the run, watching for quarterback runs. Just anything in the box is probably going to be his biggest point of strength. And he can provide the Seahawks with coverage against big receivers and big tight ends. That can be matchup nightmares. I would like to point out that the Jets were one of the best teams against the run, and they played tight ends really well. And I feel like a lot of that has to be attributed to Jamal Adams' success. But the thing that makes him a better safety than a lot of the safeties in the league is the fact that he plays 11.2% of his snaps from the line of scrimmage and is used a lot in blitzing situations. Last season he had 6.5 sacks, and for his career in 2 seasons, he's averaging 6 sacks a season. In a season he had 22 total pressures, with a 24.1 pass rush win rate, which ranks second among safeties. That is unheard of when it comes to safety play. So he's disruptive all over the field, he causes turnovers, and he's just entering his prime. That is why I believe that the Seahawks won this trade. They got an anchor for their defense, much like Cam Chancellor was back in the Legion of Boom days. And trust me, the Seahawks are going to need a lot of help slowing down that high-powered 49ers rush offense and that young, exciting Cardinals team led by Kyler Murray. Speaking of Jamal Adams, the 49ers were in talks to trade for Jamal Adams, and well, it didn't end up happening, so that was another big win for the Seahawks. Could you imagine that 49ers defense with Jamal Adams? It would have been wraps for that division. So to conclude, I'm gonna have to give the winner of this trade to the Seahawks. I don't think that the Jets are technically losers in this trade because of the haul they got back for them. I mean, the Texans got some old socks and a bag of Doritos for the generational talent that is DeAndre Hopkins.
What is that?
So the Jets were fairly compensated for this trade, but I'm going to say it again, Jamal Adams is a generational talent. He's going to be in a bunch of Pro Bowls. He is going to make a bunch of first team All-Pros, and he, to me, is a possible future Hall of Fame candidate. That is the ceiling that I have for Jamal Adams, and I think there is a very low chance that the picks that they gave up to the Jets will result in a player anywhere near Jamal Adams and anywhere near the impact that he will have for a team. If we look at it in the long run, the Seahawks were already a major threat in the NFC, but now with a much more improved defense, I think they have a solid chance of winning the NFC. Thank you for watching this video. For more updates and more sports analysis, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the algorithm if you just hit the like button and go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see y'all.
Majima, that's me. Majima, the king. The grand is my scene. But I'm coming to sunshine. Bring the